Next, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Kelly Gibo and Carla McCarthy. Dr. Gibo is the Professor of Medicine Epidemiology in the Division of Infectious Disease and the Director of the Johns Hopkins KL2 program. And Carla is the Project Administrator for the program. And they're going to talk to us about the Hopkins KL2 program, which is another funding opportunity that's available for internal Hopkins scholars. And it was the program that I was in for about a year before I got my K-23.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kelly Gibo. I am a professor of medicine at Johns Hopkins University and director of the KL2 program. I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person today, but appreciate the opportunity to come and speak about the KL2 program. And I'm very grateful to Carla McCarthy, who has been willing to join you to answer any questions. I wanted to give a brief update about the program and just talk a little bit about the background. The KL2 program is geared to develop future leaders in clinical and translational research. Scholars receive training in research design and methods, and they work collaboratively with colleagues in other disciplines. So this is a very interdisciplinary project. We have scholars from a wide variety of fields and a wide variety of schools represented who collaborate together to develop interdisciplinary projects that have translational implications. We provide our individuals with rigorous didactic training, mentorship, and interdisciplinary and collaborative environment, and then plenty of career development opportunities. So they are developing their own careers as independent investigators. Currently, we have 7 Johns Hopkins scholars and 3 scholars from the University of Maryland. We have new scholars who began on July 1st. And the collaboration between Hopkins and Maryland is longstanding, where we have both didactic and research experiences for students at both schools. The KL2 program offers $110,000 of salary support, which requires 75% effort, or at least 75% effort. We have tuition, which is up to $18,000, and we have travel allocation of just over $2,000 per scholar per year. In terms of the training programs, here at Hopkins, we have several that a number of the fellows participate in. The GTPCI program is one of the most sought after, and many of our scholars pursue this in one of the different tracks that they have in the GTPCI program. General is very common, as well as the data analysis. There's also the experience of clinical trials if people are interested in that. Some of our scholars in the past have done the PhD program in cardiovascular and clinical epidemiology. There's also the possibility to add on a 1-year biostatistics MHS if you pursue the PhD. And then some of our students who have previous experience pursue individualized programs. This can include individual courses or keystone symposia. Sometimes these are mini sabbaticals or laboratory experiences in different laboratories that allow our scholars to gain very important skills for their specific research project. These must be approved by the program leadership. There's a number of different programs at the University of Maryland. I won't go into all of these, but they include the School of Pharmacy, the graduate school programs in the School of Medicine, and then they also have certificate programs, which several of the scholars at Maryland participate in. In terms of required programs, all of our scholars fill out an individualized development program. They meet with KL2 faculty at least twice a year formally, and then informally throughout the year. In terms of other opportunities that we present to the scholars, they all have to write a K-23 or another Career Development Award, and they take a grant writing course as part of that. They participate in WAGs, which are writing accountability groups. These are in the summer, so they're actually meeting right now, approximately 8 to 10 times over the course of the summer. They attend a monthly seminar series where we talk about a variety of topics in translational research, as well as career development activities. So this gives the scholars interactions with people both intrinsic to the program, as well as outside of both universities in industry and government and in NGOs, who provide them some of the story about how they got to where they are. All of our scholars attend the annual Translational Sciences meeting, which is typically held in April. They meet with our biostatistician, Dr. Wang, who's terrific and helps them with thinking about their projects, both in terms of data collection and making sure that they're thinking about their data appropriately before they collect it, as well as when they analyze it. And then we have opportunities to present at outside institutions as part of a visiting professor program that I'll talk about in just a second. In terms of our application process, we have scholars that we recruit from all of the schools across the university. Each applicant is reviewed by, on average, 5 faculty. And then we select scholars on a variety of different criteria Most notably, what is their research plan and what are their potential career development activities? The application includes a nominating letter by the proposed faculty member and their department, by the proposed faculty mentor and their department. The proposed mentor also submits an NIH biosketch. There's 2 additional letters of recommendation. The scholar then also submits an essay about why they want to study and what they propose to study. And then they submit a CV or a biosketch. We have our applications, which are typically due in December. We select candidates to be interviewed in January. We have our final selections in February, and scholars are tending to be notified by the end of February. On average, we've been receiving between 10 and 30 applications per year. You can see this is about how many we've done over the past 15 years. And on average, we have about a 30% acceptance rate. So it's a very competitive program. This is similar at the University of Maryland, where they have also a very competitive program. And then I just wanted to hit a brief activity that we have in terms of how Hopkins and Maryland interact with the national CTSAs. In this visiting professorship program, this was developed during COVID to give scholars the opportunity to present and be grand round speakers, as well as to have a visit with faculty and scholars at various different programs in the CTSA. It's been a really significant success, and it's actually continued despite being after COVID at this point. Here's a list of the scholars that we have hosted here at Johns Hopkins from a variety of institutions. And then here are scholars that we have had who have gone on to other institutions. So you can see a wide variety of topics. It's been nice to see various different departments represented. It's also been terrific for us to have the opportunity to meet with scholars from a variety of different programs across the country. We agree to do between 2 and 3 scholars per year from Johns Hopkins that we send out, and we will also receive 2 to 3 at the Hopkins and Maryland program. Just to give a brief update on our scholar achievements, as I mentioned, the goal of our program is to get independently funded investigators. So everybody writes a K grant. Some also submit career development awards to foundations or other places. These are some of our recent scholars who are recently funded. We're very proud of all of them, and we have a number who are also currently resubmitting or who are currently under review. In terms of our application, we resubmitted our K-12 application, which is the new program that's going to be administered by NCATS. This was done in May. We hope to hear some positive news this fall. We'll wait to see what happens, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to continue this moving forward. I thank you for the opportunity to present. I really appreciate your attention today, and I look forward to receiving any questions. Carla will be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Carla, I see you on here. Thanks so much for joining us. I just have a couple of questions for you. I know Dr. Gibo mentioned the funding structure is going to change from a KL2 to a K-12 program. Does that have any implications for future applicants or current scholars?
Implications in what way?
In the structure of the program, the activities?
So the activities are going to change a little bit. So overall, everything is going to stay the same. So it's going to say, instead of being a KL2, it's going to be a K12. And NCATS decided that that's what they wanted to do. They're doing something very similar with our TL1. Instead of being a TL1, it's now going to be a T32. That's how they wanted to align the programs. Overall, the way that we submitted it, it's going to be pretty similar. So we added a few, new components. So Dr. Gibo mentioned the grant writing course. We're making that available to everybody now and then moving forward. So they'll have access to that grant writing course, even if they're not doing the GTPCI program. The seminars are going to be a little bit broader. So we are integrating our K and our T program a little bit more. So they will have access to more seminar content than they did in the past. But other than that, the requirements and the content will be pretty similar. It's just, instead of saying KL2, it'll now be a K12.
Got it. Thank you. And then my other question was, there were the K-12, the KL2 program had a lot of structured components. There were, the writing accountability work groups, and then the grant writing seminars, perhaps more structured contents than some of the K-12 programs that we'll hear about later on. Just wanted to know how you guys evaluate the effectiveness of these structured components of the scholars, and what have been other activities that you've tried in the past, and what kind of works well for the scholars?
So we are setting up, surveys, ways that we're going to be, kind of evaluating those. So one thing that I will say, so, the current grant started in 2019. Our new grant will start in 2024. How things were structured before I started. So I started in end of 2019. There were some surveys. We have annual surveys that we're doing. We have alumni surveys that we're doing. Usually the grants, the writing accountability groups, we do just a general survey to see how the scholars really like it. They tend to really like it, so we continue it. But we're going to start doing a little bit more kind of structured, surveys, those kinds of things, moving forward to kind of analyze and see how the program is doing, so that we can have that content as we move the program forward. So the program has changed quite a bit, I would say, in the last year, with Dr. Gibo taking over. So we have a lot. So the structure was there before, which you were familiar with. It's a lot more structured. And like I said, we're trying to integrate the T program into it. So as we do that, we're starting to have, there's going to be a lot more, checking to see exactly if this is the direction we want to continue, and if, the scholars are enjoying it and those kinds of things. So we'll be doing more of that.
Great, thank you so much.